Hey there, I am back with another deck review, and today we're going to be looking at Starry Night from Elephant Playing Cards. Elephant Playing Cards is the creation of founder Ben Jones, and they really make it their mission to create decks that are centered around gameplay. They want their decks to be used, they want you to get them out of the box, use them for a game night, and so this deck really is no exception in that line. It's a fun, fully custom deck, but also one that's going to be really functional. And the deck itself takes both its name and a lot of the inspiration in the design from the famous painting by Vincent van Gogh, perhaps one of his most famous paintings. Starry Night depicts a scene in France. It was actually from outside the window of the asylum where he had checked himself in after cutting his ear off. But he painted what became one of, if not the most well-known paintings in the entire world. Features beautiful swirls of the night sky over a village in France. So that's what inspired the deck, but let's see how it came to life in this one right here. Now, starting with the tuck case, it's a kind of a soft touch feel, matte finish tuck case, done in really dark hues, black and blue, and then accents of gold foil throughout, really bright accents of the gold foil. And then the background, as you can see, is just this swirl pattern, kind of like winds blowing or the sky or the clouds swirling around. That's the piece that's really reminiscent of the Starry Night painting. You'll see a lot of that used in the painting itself. But in that night sky, you've got the stars shining all in gold foil, as well as the crescent moon, and then the banner with just Starry Night playing cards. It's really nicely done. I will say in hand, the contrast of this black and blue, it's a little bit dark and kind of hard to see depending on what angle you hit it at, or if you hold it from a distance, it kind of blends in together and just looks all dark blue. But you hit it with the right light and you can really see those swirls come out. It's a really nice effect. On the sides, just a continuation of that same pattern, bordered in gold. Same thing on the other side and on the top of the deck as well, and the back. So you really just have that pattern continuing all the way through. I like that they didn't do anything like include any other details on the sides of the back. Really kind of contributes to that immersive feel all the way through the tuck. On the bottom, you just have a little bit of ad copy for Elephant Playing Cards, as well as the UPC over there. And on the inner flap here, just more continuation of that pattern, a few more shining gold stars and the gold foil border. Same thing on the inner flaps, and nothing printed on the interior of the tuck. So that is the tuck, really nicely done. Has a really nice sturdy feel to it, nice thick stock that's used for it, but very nice job on the tuck. Now getting to the cards themselves, we'll start with the back design. And here it is. Same design that we saw before, those swirls in the back, the blue and the black, and then you have it finished out with the gold metallic border and then the navy blue border on the outside, very thin poker border, and then you have those gold metallic ink stars shining all through the background. Really nice, kind of fun design to it. Again, a lot like the tuck, depending on what light you hit it at, it can get a little bit muted, like if I hold it that way. You don't see as much of the swirls, but you catch it in the light and those swirls pop out. Gives it a really nice look. I will say it is a one-way back design, which is a little bit annoying. If you look at some of the stars here, some of them are not as symmetrical. It's really hard to pick out, but there are definitely some areas where it's just not quite a symmetrical design. Like just using as an example here, look at this star over here. Those inner points are all kind of shorter for inner points, but if I flip it over this way, look at the same star and one of them kind of extends out. So just a slight set of differences as you go between the stars keeps this from being a one-way back design, or keeps it from being a two-way back design, makes it a one-way back design. But still a very nice dark feel to it all the way through. Now turning to the cards themselves, now they're all going to be these sort of white faces to the cards in contrast to the dark edges on the back. But you do get a pair of jokers, one in red and one in blue, and they're very classic jesters that are seen prancing on the one-way joker back. So kind of this funny, goofy pose with a very classic jester costume, one in dark red with kind of gold and dark black stripes, and the other one in blue and black stripes. Love the little accents of the gold metallic. You know, one thing I don't love the flesh colored faces. Something about that's really distracting, that color. But I do like the design. It's a fun design. You get the little kind of watermark effect of more of those swirls in the background, kind of mimicking what we've seen on the tuck and on the back design. So there's your 2 Jokers. You also get one other extra card, and it's just an ad card for Elephant, along with just a coupon code that you can use and a thank you from Elephant themselves, as well as the story of the company. So just an extra card there. Now getting into the cards themselves, starting with the aces. I'm gonna go with all 4 aces because you get 4 power aces, not just 1. And they all feature a very similar design. This sort of swirl of lines and flourishes forming up a large spade pip, and then the swirl of clouds in the background in a faint gray color. Really nice, fun, whimsical feel to it. I love the design of these, and the hits of the gold metallic in there with the dark blue really pops out. The red aces, on the other hand, are done in kind of a deep crimson with those same hits of gold and white running throughout. They form a really nice set of aces. Like what was done with these. I like the designs, the symmetrical left to right looks of these, and then finishes out with a pretty nice standard pip and index in the corner. Nice, big, easily readable. So there's your 4 aces. The number cards are pretty standard, slightly custom pips in the center, a little bit smaller, so you get a little bit more white space on these, but otherwise pretty standard feel to the number cards. Blacks are black, reds are red. Not too much to say about these. Now, one thing I will say is look at the index over here. You'll see it's really close to the edge here, kind of feeling that thin border. But if you compare that to the ace is a good bit more offset from the side. Both the aces and the courts have this more offset pip and index in the corner compared to the really close on the number cards. I wish they kept that consistent. It's not to the point of it being unusable or anything, but just a small inconsistency I noticed. But anyway, number cards, otherwise pretty standard. Nothing too special about these. And then you get to the court cards. And the courts, you do get a full custom set of courts. So starting with the spade courts here, you'll see they're all nicely redesigned, kind of a, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but kind of a cartoon feel to them. Some of these, especially like this king, look a little bit Disney to me, kind of a Disney feel to the character there, but really nicely redrawn. I like the colors here, the 2-tone of blue, the kind of cornflower blue, and then the deep navy blue contrast, and then the accents of gold all throughout. So there's your jack holding a scepter, the queen holding a golden flower, and then the king with his spade top scepter as well. Again, with those flesh skin tones, but nicely done. 2-way quartz all the way through. And then the reds are more the same, but they're kind of swapped out in the color for a little bit more maroons and almost a pink color or a salmon color there. So there you get the very classic styling. So I like the mix of, they're definitely recognizable as quartz, but still very custom feel that kind of modernizes them in a lot of ways. So there's your heart quartz. Into the clubs. Not a bad design. Like I said, one knock is going to be those flesh skin tones. I wish they hadn't done that. I'm not sure what color I would have made them, but a different shade would have been nicer, I think, on these. But I do like the accents of gold that you get through these. Really like the fan on the queen. Love the use of the fan there. And there's your 3 diamond quartz. So that gets you through the deck. Now, as far as handling, these are not printed by one of the usual handlers or printers. These are printed by WJPC. Elephants use these on a few of their other decks, and I will say they're kind of hit or miss with their handling. This particular one's done in their butter finish, which Elephants has switched on for most of their decks at this point. They did some earlier ones that weren't on the butter finish, didn't handle very well at all, but if you used any of their more recent decks, you know what these feel like. They fan reasonably well. I don't use these really heavily for cardistry. I don't use anything really heavily for cardistry, but I will say these fan reasonably well. Not too much to complain about there. Cuts are nice and clean. They are a good bit stiffer than some cards, so depending on how you want to use these in dribbles or springs or anything like that. They're going to be a good bit stiffer than like a crushed stock from Bicycle or a Cardamundi card, but still a nice handling deck. Nice enough, I would say, and one that's going to be a lot sturdier if you use these for gameplay. So that's it. And really the usefulness of the deck, really it comes down to gameplays where you're going to want to use this. That's what the deck was designed for. I think it holds up well for that. Nice, big, easy to read and easy to use cards all the way throughout. Nice courts that are still recognizable. So gameplay is really where this is going to be at. There's little bits that hold it back from being a great deck for Magic or a great deck for cardistry. But for gameplay, I think it works well. And that really is the mission for Elephant Playing Cards, as I said up at the top. So that's it. That is the look at these Starry Nights cards from Elephant Playing Cards. Hope you enjoyed this look. Make sure to subscribe for more deck reviews and unboxings, and let me know what else you want to see, and I'll see you for the next one.